Many people ask about my political world, and my answer to them is always that I don't have any. In order to have a political world, I would have to believe that there is a political solution to society's problems. But I consider that to be out of the question. For any political solution to work, civilization should not be organized from below, but from the level of power, which is nonsense absurdity. But yet, the masses still believe this blindly. How does this relate to math? Simply, in the eyes of power, we humans are just numbers. Bureaucrats and politicians see numbers in people, but the numbers are not individuals. Most people believe in abstract concepts that represent a set of people, like nation. But these collectives do not exist in reality, only in the imagination. Like the government is not a government, just a group of individuals. But what is the group? Individuals who believe that their sense of identity sets them apart from other individuals. However, this is all a mere illusion, for there is no grouping that overrides the independent entity of the individual. To understand this, we need to understand that numbers do not exist in reality, which is more than one, because what makes something two? Adding something together with each other. For example, we put two chopsticks next to each other. But what changes with that? Do the properties or physical structure of the sticks change just because they are next to each other? Are they merging with each other in some way? The answer is no, nothing changes. Just as people standing next to each other don't merge just because they are standing next to each other. They obviously interact, but this is no more significant than their own individual characteristics. Similarly, subtraction does not create anything that did not exist before. If we cut a chopstick in half, it will not be two whole, only two halves. If two people move away from each other, they will not be two separate entities, just because they are no longer next to each other. They always were. If we cut a man in two, he will not be two men, only two halves, but mostly dead. However, when we talk about numbers or write numbers, we always display them as independent entities. Of course, this makes sense mathematically, but in reality it is an absolute impossibility, which makes me think that the numbers are only human conceptions. The self-contradiction begins there with the representation of numbers as independent entities, assuming that the members making them merged with each other and ceased to exist as independent entities at the same time. If, on the other hand, this happens, they will cease to be more than one. That is, if viewed materialistically, mathematics is either contrary to the laws of physics or a non-existent science. But this is only the materialist approach, of course. That is, either it must be stated that mathematics is a religion, or that materialism is bullshit. There is absolutely no other logical choice. The question is, how is it possible that numbers do not exist in reality and that mathematical operations are based on illusion? Yet do they make sense? So much so that the whole of human civilization is based on this. There is only one answer to this, so that the human mind is not materialistic but abstract. That is, science and religion are two sides of the same coin. How does this manifest itself in the political ideologies that think in the masses? What is called individualism in the West today is, in fact, hidden collectivism, because we are only numbers. And the collectivists are the worst individualists for the reasons mentioned above. People are not numbers, they are not chopsticks, they are not the same. It is not possible to solve the problem of people collectively without solving each individual's independently.